You don't wake up tired because you lack sleep. You wake up tired because you've spent years living a life that doesn't represent who you truly are. Because every day you do what you have to do, but not what burns inside you. Because deep down, you know you're playing small. And that feeling, that pressure in your chest, it's not weakness. It's your potential calling you back. Look around you. Busy people, but lost. Running all day with no direction. Filled with well-dressed excuses. It's not the right time. When I have more money. When someone gives me an opportunity. Soft lies that calm fear, but kill destiny. The world does not reward waiting. It rewards decision. Most men don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack inner fire. They start with enthusiasm and quit at the first hit. They get motivated by pretty words, but collapse when reality demands character. And then they settle. They adapt. They resign. That is the real danger. Because when a man loses faith in himself, he starts negotiating with his dreams. He lowers his goals. He drops his standards. He convinces himself that not everyone was born to win. But history proves otherwise. The great ones were not born great. They were built through decisions, discipline, and perseverance. Napoleon Hill discovered something unsettling after studying the most successful men of his time. All of them went through defeats, humiliation, and visible failure. The difference is that they didn't stop, they didn't retreat, they didn't betray themselves. This is not a comfortable message. It's not meant to relax you. It's meant to wake you up. Because if you keep living the same way, nothing will change. But if today you decide to think differently, demand more from yourself and stop running from difficulty, your life shifts into a different frequency. The question is not whether you can achieve it. The question is, how much longer are you going to keep living below what you know you deserve? Subscribe to the channel now. Leave a like so this content can reach more people, and write in the comments which country you're watching us from. Your decision today could be the first step toward a real transformation. The first principle that separates ordinary men from men of destiny is a burning desire with a defined purpose. Not a superficial desire. Not a nice idea that appears when everything is going well and disappears when problems arise. We are talking about an inner fire that gives you no peace, that pushes you even when you're afraid, that forces you to get up when your body wants to give up. Without that fire, life drags you along. With it, you begin to direct it. A man without purpose lives reacting. He reacts to his boss, the economy, other people's opinions, fatigue. He moves a lot, but he doesn't advance. He works hard, but he doesn't build anything. Because effort without direction only produces exhaustion. Napoleon Hill observed this for years and was clear. No one achieves great results without knowing exactly what they want and why they want it. Clarity precedes power. Andrew Carnegie did not arrive in the United States with a detailed plan, but he arrived with an unbreakable inner decision. He would become one of the most influential men of his time. That desire was non-negotiable. Everything else adjusted itself around that vision. Purpose acts like a mental magnet. It attracts ideas, people, opportunities, not because the world is magical, but because your mind begins to filter reality in a different way. This is where many people deceive themselves. They say they want success, but they are not willing to be uncomfortable. They say they want to change their lives, yet they remain attached to habits that keep them small. A burning desire demands coherence. It demands that your actions support your words. Otherwise, it is not desire, it is fantasy. Look at yourself honestly. What is that thing you know you should be pursuing, but have been postponing? What dream do you keep justifying with a lack of time, money, or support? Most people do not fail because of a lack of ability, but because they slowly betray what they truly wanted. First, they postpone it. Then they minimize it. Finally, they forget it. And with it, something inside goes out. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before achieving a functional result. When asked why he didn't give up, he replied that he hadn't failed. He had simply discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. That answer does not come from cheap optimism. It comes from a purpose so clear that failure stops being personal. It becomes part of the process. A man with a burning desire is not defined by immediate results, but by the consistency of his vision. He does not need external motivation all the time. His purpose drives him from within. And when fatigue arrives, he does not ask, "Is it worth it?" He asks, "What else can I adjust to move forward?" Repeat this internally. My life does not change when everything aligns on the outside. It changes when I align on the inside. Because the perfect moment does not exist. Total security does not exist. The only thing that exists is the decision to stop living below your potential. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Desire alone does not sustain the journey when doubt appears, and doubt always appears. In the next chapter, you will understand why many men with great dreams give up, and how to activate the inner force that turns a desire into an unbreakable conviction. That is the point where most people get lost, and where you can begin to separate yourself from the rest. What turns a desire into an unbreakable force is not intelligence, not luck, not even opportunity. It is faith applied through auto-suggestion. And here is the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of what you believe about yourself. A man can have a powerful dream, a clear purpose, and still sabotage everything if his inner dialogue is poisoned by doubt. This is where destinies are either forged or silently destroyed. Faith, as Napoleon Hill described it, is not religious belief or blind optimism. It is a state of mind, a decision to accept an idea as truth before the evidence appears. Most people wait for results to believe. Men of destiny believe first and then force reality to catch up. That is why the majority stays stuck. They say, "When I see it, I'll believe it." But by then, it's too late. Nothing new is created that way. Auto-suggestion is the bridge between desire and faith. It is how an idea is planted, repeated, and impressed into the subconscious until it becomes identity. Your subconscious does not argue, it does not analyze. It accepts repetition as truth. Whatever you tell yourself consistently, especially with emotion, becomes your operating system. This is not philosophy. It is how the human mind works. Look at Henry Ford. Before he built his empire, experts told him it was impossible to create an affordable car for the masses. Engineers mocked him. Financiers doubted him. Even people close to him advised him to quit. But Ford had already accepted a single idea as truth. "I will build it." That belief was not shaken by ridicule. Why? Because he repeated it to himself long before the world confirmed it. His faith preceded his evidence. Most men do the opposite. They rehearse their fears daily. They repeat stories of limitation. "I'm not good at this. People like me don't succeed. It's too late for me." And then they wonder why life keeps proving them right. The subconscious is obedient. It delivers exactly what it is instructed to deliver. Nothing more, nothing less. Here is where this becomes personal. Every time you speak internally, you are programming yourself. Every time you visualize failure, you are rehearsing it. Every time you dwell on past mistakes, you reinforce an identity you claim to want to escape. Faith is not built by accident. It is trained through intentional repetition. Abraham Lincoln failed in business. He failed in politics. He was defeated publicly again and again. But he never allowed failure to define his inner narrative. He believed he was meant for something greater long before the presidency validated it. His faith was quiet, internal, disciplined. While others quit, he reprogrammed. This is why autosuggestion must be deliberate. You cannot leave your mind unattended. An undisciplined mind becomes a battlefield controlled by fear, comparison, and external noise. And in that chaos, no great vision survives. Faith does not eliminate fear. It gives you authority over it. A man with faith still feels doubt, but he does not obey it. He chooses his dominant thought consciously. He repeats it when it feels uncomfortable, especially when it feels uncomfortable. Say this slowly and mean it. "I am becoming the man capable of achieving my purpose. Not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect. Now." These words matter. Repetition matters. Emotion matters. Napoleon Hill discovered that faith grows through emotionalized repetition. Cold affirmations do nothing. Mechanical words have no power. But when you speak with intensity, when you visualize yourself acting with confidence, When you feel the identity you are building, the subconscious responds. It begins to search for alignment. This is why two men can face the same obstacle and experience completely different outcomes. One sees confirmation of his limits, the other sees resistance as proof that he is moving forward. Same situation, different belief. The world does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you believe you are. If deep down you see yourself as someone who quits, you will find reasons to quit. If you see yourself as someone who persists, solutions will appear where others see walls. Autosuggestion is not pretending, it is training. Just like the body adapts to repeated physical stress, the mind adapts to repeated ideas. You become what you rehearse. This is why many people start strong and fade. They consume motivation, but never reprogram identity. They listen, feel inspired for an hour, then return to the same internal language. No transformation survives that cycle. Faith requires solitude, silence, moments where you consciously choose what enters your mind. You cannot build a powerful inner world while constantly feeding on external noise. Every great builder of destiny guarded his mind fiercely. Thomas Edison spoke to himself relentlessly. When experiments failed, he did not internalize defeat. He reframed it. He controlled the meaning. That control is faith in action. But here is the hard part, and this is where most people stop listening. Faith must be maintained before results. This is the test. This is where impatience exposes weak belief. If you need immediate confirmation, your faith is conditional, and conditional faith collapses under pressure. You must learn to act as if the outcome is inevitable, even when evidence contradicts you. This does not mean arrogance. It means internal alignment, calm certainty, quiet persistence. Ask yourself honestly, what ideas have you been repeating that are sabotaging you? Whose voice have you allowed to live rent-free in your mind? Because until you change the internal conversation, no external strategy will save you. Faith and autosuggestion are the invisible architecture of success. No one applauds them, no one sees them, but without them, everything collapses. And yet, even faith is tested, because belief without endurance breaks when adversity intensifies. In the next chapter, you will confront the force that separates those who believe briefly from those who endure relentlessly. The principle that decides who survives pressure and who retreats when the battle gets real. Persistence is the difference between a man who almost succeeds and a man who cannot be stopped. It is the quiet force that keeps moving forward long after motivation has died. Desire may ignite the journey. Faith may give it direction. But persistence is what carries a man through the darkest stretches of the road, when progress is invisible and doubt becomes loud. Napoleon Hill discovered that every great achievement is guarded by adversity, and that adversity exists for one reason: to test how serious you really are. Most men stop not because they are defeated, but because they grow tired of enduring uncertainty. They can tolerate effort, but they cannot tolerate not knowing when the reward will come. So they hesitate, they slow down, they rethink, and slowly, without realizing it, they quit. Persistence does not ask for guarantees. It moves forward without them. Look at Abraham Lincoln. Before becoming president, he lost elections repeatedly. He was mocked, underestimated, dismissed. Each failure could have been a final verdict, but Lincoln treated defeat as feedback, not as identity. His persistence was not loud, it was not dramatic, it was relentless. While others surrendered to humiliation, he kept showing up. History does not remember how many times he failed. It remembers that he did not stop. Adversity has a unique ability to expose character. When pressure increases, the mask falls. Some men complain, some men blame, some men numb themselves with distraction. Persistent men do something else. They adjust and continue. They do not romanticize suffering, but they refuse to let pain dictate direction. Here is the truth that makes persistence rare. It requires emotional control. A man who reacts emotionally to every setback will never last. Persistence demands that you detach your self-worth from short-term outcomes. You must learn to separate who you are from what just happened. Otherwise, every obstacle feels personal, and personal pain drains energy fast. Thomas Edison faced financial ruin, public ridicule, and endless technical failures. At one point, his laboratory burned to the ground. Years of work vanished in a single night. Most men would have collapsed. Edison looked at the flames and said, "Now all our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." That is persistence trained at the deepest level, not stubbornness. Perspective. Persistent men do not deny reality, they redefine it. They understand that resistance is not a sign to stop, but a signal to refine. They ask better questions. What can I learn? What must change? What is this training me for? While others ask, why is this happening to me? Napoleon Hill observed that persistence is strengthened through habit. You do not wake up one day with it fully formed. You build it by keeping small promises to yourself, by finishing what you start, by acting even when emotions resist. Every time you follow through, you reinforce an internal identity. I do not quit. Most people wait to feel strong before acting. Persistent men act until strength appears. They understand that feelings follow behavior, not the other way around. Discipline precedes confidence. Action precedes clarity. There will be days when your mind offers you convincing arguments to stop. It will sound reasonable, logical. It will remind you of past failures, current limitations, future risks. This is not intuition. It is self-preservation disguised as wisdom. Persistence requires that you recognize this voice and refuse to obey it. Say this to yourself when it gets hard. I move forward, even when I don't feel like it, especially when I don't feel like it. These words matter because they shift authority from emotion to intention. Henry Ford faced bankruptcy more than once. Investors abandoned him. Partners doubted him. But his persistence outlasted their patience. While others measured effort by immediate return, Ford measured it by alignment with his vision. He kept building while others kept calculating. This is where most men misjudge success. They expect linear progress. But growth is irregular, uneven, silent for long periods, then sudden. Persistence bridges the gap between effort and breakthrough. Without it, the breakthrough never arrives. Persistent men understand something else that others miss. Resistance often increases right before progress accelerates. The pressure intensifies because you are close to something meaningful. But those who quit at that moment never know how close they were. There is no glory in quitting quietly. There is no peace in unfinished purpose. The weight you carry from unfinished work is heavier than the weight of effort. Persistence liberates you from regret. This does not mean blind endurance. Persistence is intelligent. It adapts strategies without abandoning purpose. It changes methods, not direction. Weak men change direction to avoid discomfort. Strong men refine their approach to honor commitment. Ask yourself, where have you been stopping just before momentum builds? Where have you been retreating instead of adjusting? Because every retreat trains the mind to retreat again. Napoleon Hill emphasized that persistence is fueled by a burning desire, reinforced by faith, and protected by discipline. When any of these weaken, persistence fades. That is why it must be consciously renewed. Persistence is not heroic in the moment. It is lonely, repetitive, uncelebrated, but it is undefeated. Time eventually bows to those who refuse to leave the field, and yet, persistence alone is not enough. Many men persist in the wrong emotional state, carrying anger, fear, or resentment that slowly poisons their progress. In the next chapter, you will confront the internal battlefield that determines whether persistence builds you or breaks you. Mastery over your emotions and thoughts is the line that separates strength from chaos. A man may have desire, faith, and persistence, yet still sabotage himself if his inner world is undisciplined. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. The mind, when left unmanaged, becomes its own worst enemy. Success is not only built in the outer world of action, but in the invisible arena where thoughts are chosen and emotions are governed. Most men believe they are controlled by circumstances. In reality, they are controlled by their reactions to those circumstances. Anger, fear, envy, frustration. These emotions are not flaws, they are signals. But when they rule you, They drain your energy and distort your judgment. An undisciplined emotional state turns small setbacks into major defeats and temporary delays into permanent retreats. Consider Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. He carried the weight of a divided nation, endless criticism, and unimaginable loss. His letters reveal moments of deep sadness and doubt, but he never allowed those emotions to dictate his decisions. He observed them. He contained them. He acted from principle, not impulse. Emotional mastery does not mean emotional numbness, it means emotional command. The mind is a battlefield. Every day, thoughts compete for dominance. Some empower, others weaken. The ones you repeatedly entertain become your default reality. Napoleon Hill taught that thoughts mixed with emotion grow into beliefs. That means every time you dwell on fear with intensity, you reinforce it. Every time you nurture courage with intention, you strengthen it. Most people think thoughts just happen. Strong men choose them. They interrupt destructive patterns. They question assumptions. They refuse to identify with every mental impulse. This is not suppression, it is direction. Look at Thomas Edison again. When experiments failed, he did not explode emotionally. He did not collapse into despair. He maintained curiosity. He controlled the meaning of the experience. That control preserved his energy. Emotional reactions drain power. Emotional discipline preserves it. Anger, when uncontrolled, blinds. Fear, when unexamined, paralyzes. Envy, when indulged, corrodes. But when mastered, these same emotions can be redirected into fuel. Controlled anger sharpens resolve. Examined fear improves preparation. Transcended envy becomes inspiration. Mastery transforms poison into power. Here is the truth most avoid. You cannot build a powerful future with a chaotic inner life. Emotional volatility makes consistency impossible. One day motivated, the next discouraged. One win inflates the ego. One loss destroys confidence. This instability is not fate, it is lack of training. Napoleon Hill emphasized that self-control is a learnable skill. It begins with awareness. You must notice what triggers you. Notice which emotions steal your focus. Awareness is the first victory. When pressure rises, your true level of control is revealed. Anyone can feel calm when things are easy. Mastery is proven when stress is high, when plans fail, when others doubt you. That is when discipline must override impulse. Say this to yourself: I choose my response. This sentence is simple, but powerful. It restores authority. It reminds you that while you cannot control events, you can control interpretation. If this message challenged you, subscribe to the channel, leave a like to support this content, and write in the comments where you're watching from. Henry Ford faced intense criticism and legal battles. Newspapers attacked him. Rivals provoked him. He did not respond emotionally to every insult. He conserved energy for creation. While others wasted strength defending their ego, Ford invested his in building systems. An uncontrolled mind leaks energy. Worry loops endlessly. Regret replays the past. Anxiety imagines disasters that never arrive. All of this consumes mental fuel needed for progress. Emotional mastery seals those leaks. This is why solitude and reflection are essential. Constant stimulation weakens control. A man who never pauses to observe his inner state becomes reactive. Silence strengthens awareness. Awareness strengthens choice. You must also understand the danger of negative emotional habits. Complaining feels relieving, but it trains helplessness. Self-pity feels justified, but it erodes resilience. Blame feels empowering, but it removes responsibility. Emotional mastery requires brutal honesty with yourself. Discipline does not mean repressing emotion, it means channeling it. Athletes do not eliminate adrenaline, they direct it. Leaders do not eliminate fear, they convert it into preparation. The goal is not to feel less, but to feel intentionally. Napoleon Hill noted that sexual energy, when controlled and redirected, becomes creative force. This principle extends to all emotional energy. When unmanaged, it scatters. When mastered, it builds. Ask yourself, what emotion has been controlling you lately? Fear of failure, anger at the past, resentment toward others. These are not enemies. They are signals asking for direction. Ignored, they sabotage. Directed, they serve. Mastery also requires mental diet. What you consume mentally shapes your emotional state. Constant negativity weakens resolve. Repeated exposure to defeatist narratives normalizes limitation. Guard your inputs as fiercely as your time. A man who masters his emotions becomes steady, predictable in action, reliable under pressure. Others trust him because he trusts himself. He does not explode or collapse. He adjusts. But here is the deeper challenge. Mastery must be maintained daily. It is not achieved once. It is practiced continuously. One lapse can reopen old patterns. That is why vigilance matters. Emotional mastery gives you freedom. Freedom from impulsive decisions. Freedom from unnecessary suffering. Freedom to choose long-term gain over short-term relief. Yet even with mastery, progress can stall if decisions are delayed. Emotional control prepares you, but it does not move you forward alone. In the next chapter, you will confront the enemy that kills more dreams than failure ever could: indecision. Indecision is the silent executioner of potential. It does not announce itself loudly. It disguises itself as caution, as preparation, as intelligence. But while a man waits, life moves on without him. Napoleon Hill observed that one of the clearest differences between successful men and unsuccessful ones is speed of decision. Those who advance decide quickly and change slowly. Those who remain stuck hesitate endlessly and change often. A man who cannot decide is a man who has surrendered authority over his life. Every delayed decision invites doubt, fear, and external influence to step in. Over time, this hesitation becomes identity. He begins to see himself as someone who needs more time, when in reality, he is avoiding responsibility for the outcome. Henry Ford made decisions that experts warned against. He ignored committees, rejected consensus, and moved forward with conviction. Not because he was reckless, but because he understood something fundamental. Clarity comes from action, not from endless thought. Waiting for certainty is waiting forever. Indecision drains energy. Every unresolved choice consumes mental bandwidth. The mind loops, replays scenarios, imagines risks, and calculates endlessly. This constant internal negotiation exhausts focus and weakens confidence. Decision, even imperfect, restores power. It creates movement. And movement creates information. Most men fear making the wrong choice more than they fear making no choice. But no choice is still a choice, and often the most damaging one. Opportunities expire. Momentum fades. Self-trust erodes. Over time, the habit of hesitation becomes paralysis. Napoleon Hill warned that procrastination is a close relative of fear. It thrives on excuses that sound reasonable. I need to research more. I'll start next month. I'm not ready yet. These delays feel safe, but safety is an illusion. Growth demands exposure. Abraham Lincoln made decisions under impossible pressure. Every choice carried risk. Delay could cost lives. Action could bring criticism. Yet he understood that leadership requires commitment under uncertainty. He gathered information, reflected, and then acted decisively. He did not look back obsessively. He adjusted forward. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Confidence is not a prerequisite for decision. It is a result of it. Each time you decide and follow through, you train your mind to trust itself. Each time you hesitate, you reinforce doubt. Indecision often comes from overvaluing opinion. The fear of being judged, criticized, or wrong keeps many men frozen. But no great builder of destiny waited for universal approval. Consensus creates comfort, not greatness. Thomas Edison decided to keep going when logic said stop. He decided to invest time, money, and reputation into ideas that looked irrational. Those decisions shaped history. Had he waited for permission, nothing would have been built. Decisive men accept the cost of mistakes. They understand that errors are not verdicts, but teachers. They correct course quickly instead of defending pride. Indecisive men avoid mistakes by avoiding action and learn nothing. Ask yourself, where have you been postponing a decision that you already know the answer to? What are you waiting for? More confidence, more reassurance, or permission you will never receive? Napoleon Hill emphasized that once a decision is made, it must be backed by persistence. Weak decisions crumble under pressure. Strong decisions are reinforced daily through action. This is how procrastination is eliminated, not by motivation but by commitment. Say this to yourself: I decide and I move, not when I feel ready, when it matters. These words shift identity from observer to actor. Indecision creates dependency. You begin to rely on circumstances to choose for you. Decisiveness creates leadership. Even in your own life, you become someone others follow because you follow through. Speed matters, not recklessness, but responsiveness. Opportunities rarely announce themselves twice. Momentum favors the committed. Delay favors regret. There will always be reasons to wait. Fear will always offer logic. But clarity is earned in motion. The path reveals itself step by step, not all at once. Decisive men understand that action creates feedback. Feedback creates refinement. Refinement creates mastery. Without the first step, the chain never begins. Indecision is comfortable because it avoids accountability. But accountability is the price of power. Once you decide, you own the outcome. That ownership is what builds character. Napoleon Hill studied men who failed despite talent. Almost always, indecision was present. They drifted. They reacted. They let life happen to them instead of directing it. Decision is a declaration of identity. It says, I am responsible, I am committed, I will adjust, but I will not retreat. Yet decision alone is not enough. A decision without structure collapses. Action without organization scatters energy. In the next chapter, you will learn how disciplined planning turns decision into execution and execution into results. Indecision is not weakness. It is fear wearing the mask of intelligence. It speaks calmly. It sounds reasonable. It convinces you that waiting is maturity and hesitation is wisdom. But Napoleon Hill identified indecision as one of the most destructive habits a man can develop, because it slowly transfers control of his life to circumstances, opinions, and chance. A man who does not decide is decided for. Every great achievement begins with a firm decision, not a wish, not an intention. A decision is a psychological line in the sand. Before it, everything is negotiable. After it, excuses lose power. Most men live their entire lives before that line, endlessly preparing, endlessly evaluating, endlessly postponing the moment when they must stand behind a choice. The human mind seeks comfort. Decision threatens comfort because it introduces risk. Once you decide, you expose yourself to the possibility of failure, judgment, and loss. So the mind creates delay. It says you need more information, more clarity, more confidence. But confidence does not come before decision. Confidence is forged through repeated decisions honored by action. Napoleon Hill observed that successful men decide quickly and firmly. They do not rush blindly, but they do not linger. They gather what is necessary, then commit. Unsuccessful men hesitate, revisit the same choices repeatedly, and allow doubt to grow roots. Over time, hesitation becomes habit, and habit becomes identity. Henry Ford made decisions that defied expert consensus. When he decided to build an affordable car for the masses, specialists called it unrealistic. Investors hesitated, engineers doubted. But Ford understood something crucial. Progress belongs to those willing to move before certainty appears. Had he waited for full agreement, the moment would have passed. Indecision drains more energy than action ever will. A decision unfinished occupies the mind constantly. It replays scenarios, imagines consequences, and fuels anxiety. This mental friction weakens focus and erodes self-trust. Decision, even when imperfect, brings relief. It simplifies. It concentrates energy in one direction. Most men fear making the wrong decision more than they fear stagnation, but stagnation is far more dangerous. Time does not pause while you hesitate. Opportunities decay. Momentum fades. The cost of waiting is invisible at first, but devastating over years. Regret is often born not from bold mistakes, but from chances never taken. Abraham Lincoln faced decisions where every option carried risk. Delay meant continued suffering. Action meant backlash. He understood that leadership demands commitment under uncertainty. He did not seek comfort. He sought responsibility. His decisions were not always popular, but they were decisive. History rewards decisiveness, not hesitation. Procrastination is indecision stretched over time. It is fear diluted into routine. Napoleon Hill warned that procrastination becomes permanent if tolerated. Today becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next year. And slowly, life is lived in preparation mode instead of execution mode. Indecision often comes from overvaluing external opinion. A man listens to too many voices and loses his own. He wants approval before commitment. But no man of destiny waited for universal validation. Those who move first are always criticized by those who remain still. Thomas Edison decided to persist when logic suggested retreat. Thousands of failures did not persuade him to abandon his direction. He adjusted methods, not purpose. That distinction matters. Weak men change direction to avoid discomfort. Strong men refine strategy to honor commitment. Decision is an act of self-trust. Each time you decide and follow through, you reinforce the belief that you can rely on yourself. Each time you hesitate or abandon a decision, you weaken that belief. Over time, this inner trust gap becomes the reason many men feel stuck. They no longer trust their own judgment. Ask yourself honestly, how many decisions have you delayed that you already knew the answer to? Not because the answer was unclear, but because acting on it would require change. Change in habits. Change in relationships. Change in identity. Indecision protects the current self. Decision creates the next one. Napoleon Hill taught that once a decision is made, it must be defended against doubt. Doubt will return. It always does. But decisive men do not reopen settled questions unnecessarily. They move forward and adjust in motion. Indecisive men constantly reopen decisions, draining momentum. Say this internally with conviction. I decide once course and I act consistently. These words are not motivational. They are structural. They reshape behavior. Speed of decision matters, not because fast is always better, but because hesitation invites interference. The longer you wait, the more external voices influence you. Fear grows louder. Courage fades. Momentum dissolves. Decision creates direction. Direction creates focus. Focus creates progress. Without decision, energy scatters. You work hard, but nothing compounds. You stay busy, but results remain thin. Many men confuse thinking with progress. Thinking is necessary, but only to a point. Beyond that point, thinking becomes avoidance. Action is the only thing that clarifies uncertainty. You do not think your way into clarity. You move into it. Decisive men accept the cost of mistakes. They understand that error is feedback, not failure. Indecisive men avoid mistakes by avoiding movement and therefore never gain experience. Experience belongs only to those who act. Indecision also breeds dependency. When you cannot decide, you look outward for rescue. Circumstances choose for you. Other people influence your path. You react instead of direct. Decision restores authorship over your life. Napoleon Hill identified definiteness of purpose as impossible without decisiveness. Purpose without decision is imagination. Decision transforms imagination into intention. Intention transforms into execution. Every time you decide and follow through, you strengthen mental muscle. Just like physical training, consistency builds capacity. Decisiveness becomes natural. Hesitation loses its grip. But decision alone is not enough. Many men decide passionately and then scatter their efforts. Without structure, decisions collapse. Without planning, action becomes chaotic. In the next chapter, you will learn how organized planning turns decisive intent into sustained execution. and execution into tangible results that compound over time. A decision gives you direction, but without organized planning and disciplined action, direction becomes wasted potential. Napoleon Hill was precise on this point. Men fail not because they lack desire or intelligence, but because they lack structure sustained by repetition. Great outcomes are not the result of intensity alone. They are the result of systems followed long enough for results to compound. Most men make decisions emotionally and then abandon them practically. They feel a surge of resolve, set ambitious intentions, and then return to disorganized behavior. Passion spikes. Consistency collapses, and slowly doubt returns. This is not a character flaw, it is a planning failure. Organized planning means turning intention into sequence. It means breaking vision into executable steps. It means knowing what must be done daily, weekly, and consistently, even when enthusiasm fades. Discipline begins where motivation ends. Henry Ford did not build an empire by working harder than everyone else. He built systems that worked even when he was tired. He organized labor, processes, and repetition. He understood that discipline frees the mind from constant decision-making. When systems are clear, energy is conserved for execution. Most people overestimate what they can do in a short burst and underestimate what repetition can do over time. They chase breakthroughs instead of building foundations, but repetition is the real transformer. Repetition reshapes identity. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. Napoleon Hill emphasized that habits are the visible form of discipline. You do not rise to your intentions, you fall to your habits. That is why planning must include behavioral structure, not just goals. What time you wake up, what you focus on first, what you tolerate, what you refuse. Discipline is not punishment, it is alignment. It is the act of removing friction between who you are now and who you intend to become. Every disciplined action is a vote for your future self. Thomas Edison did not rely on inspiration. He relied on process. He showed up daily, experimented relentlessly, and documented everything. His discipline allowed creativity to function. Without structure, creativity dissolves into chaos. Repetition is uncomfortable because it exposes impatience. The ego wants results now, but reality rewards consistency. Small actions repeated daily outperform massive efforts performed sporadically. This is why most men quit just before progress becomes visible. They mistake silence for failure. Transformation does not announce itself, it accumulates quietly. Discipline feels unrewarding until suddenly it isn't. And when results appear, they appear faster than expected, but only to those who stayed consistent long enough. Organized planning also requires flexibility. Strong men do not cling rigidly to broken methods. They adjust tactics without abandoning purpose. Planning is dynamic, discipline is steady, purpose is non-negotiable. Napoleon Hill taught that persistence must be guided by intelligence. Blind effort wastes energy. Structured effort multiplies it. Each action should feed the next. Each result should inform adjustment. This is where repetition becomes power. When actions are repeated intentionally, confidence grows naturally. Not because you feel stronger, but because evidence accumulates. You begin to trust yourself, not because of belief alone, but because of proof. Most men seek confidence first, but confidence is earned last. Discipline produces results. Results produce confidence. Confidence reinforces discipline. This is the cycle that separates builders from dreamers. Repetition also rewires the subconscious. The mind accepts consistency as truth. When you act disciplined daily, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. This identity shift is the true transformation. External success follows internal alignment. When behavior, thought, and identity converge, resistance loses power. Discipline also protects you from emotion. On difficult days, discipline carries you forward. On good days, discipline prevents complacency. It creates stability across emotional fluctuation. Napoleon Hill warned that lack of discipline invites drift. Drift is the enemy of destiny. It feels harmless, it feels natural, but drift slowly disconnects effort from purpose. Discipline anchors you. Organized planning must also include association, the people you listen to, the voices you allow, the environments you tolerate. No disciplined life survives in a chaotic environment. Protect your focus fiercely. Repetition requires patience. Patience requires faith. Faith requires memory. You must remember why you started when results lag. This memory fuels endurance. Say this internally and with clarity. I do not rush the process. I respect it. These words ground you in reality. Transformation is not dramatic. It is consistent. It is quiet. It is earned. And once it solidifies, it is permanent. This is the final truth Napoleon Hill revealed through decades of study. Success is not a destination. It is a state of disciplined alignment maintained over time. Those who understand this stop chasing shortcuts and start building systems. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are untrained, and training is available to anyone willing to commit. If you have followed this journey from desire to faith, from persistence to emotional mastery, from decision to discipline, then you already know what must be done next. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Choose one action, structure it, repeat it, protect it. Let time work for you instead of against you. History is not written by men who waited to feel ready. It is written by men who decided to act consistently long enough to become inevitable. And now the responsibility shifts to you. If this message challenged you, subscribe to the channel, leave a like to support this content, and write in the comments where you're watching from. Commit to your growth. This is where the real work begins.